I'm literally, bro, I'm in the club, hands on my face. I'm like, yo, I'm like, bro, did Volk just win this? I'm like, this man Volk won, bro.
Yes.
Fight of the year candidate?
Absolutely.
Has to be right now,
Absolutely.
right? Volkanovski, Makhachev. If that's how you say his name, I don't know.
Makhachev.
Makhachev, Islam. What did you think about the fight? If you could sum up this fight in a headline, what would it be?
It would be that's tough. There's a lot. There's a couple of ways you can go with it. I would say something along the lines of Volkanovski shocks Islam in a thriller, but comes up short. Something like that.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love that. Yeah, but Islam said he wasn't surprised.
Yeah, he says that. But but I think Volkanovski said it best, where he said Islam underestimated my wrestling and I underestimated his striking.
Yep.
And that's where it goes. Bro, Volk, when that fight was going on, I think first, second round, I was like, oh, like everything that Volk was saying is absolutely true.
I think in the first two rounds, the only moment that was like, whoa, was Islam did get him to the point of a rear naked choke and was trying to put the squeeze, this legendary squeeze that we hear about. It must be otherworldly. And to me, it looked like Volk's head started turning purple, like he was cutting off some type of circulation. But obviously, and I'm telling Carlos right next to me, I'm like, bro, he's not tapping. No. Regardless of what happened, he's like, I don't know, like whatever. I'm like, regardless of if he got the hooks in, no hooks on his chin, he's not tapping. Yeah. It doesn't matter. He told you, I'm not going to tap and I'm not going to.
And he's not going to get me there.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but bro, that was one thing that I was very surprised about early was how ineffective Volkanovski's striking was. And not to say that was the case the whole fight. Right. But I was very surprised at the range difference. And watching him versus Max, he was able to get the shots that he was looking for.
Crazy stat, but he has a longer reach than Max. Crazy.
Yeah, that's wild.
Crazy.
Max not built right. Bro, he's 5'11", I think.
Fam, he had it's crazy.
That's wild. But yeah, I could tell it was very difficult for him to get in on Islam and really start landing shots. So that was early watching the fight. That was a proponent that I was like, oh, okay, like this is different because it's not really how I expected at least this portion of the fight to go. And with the Khabib comparison to Islam, to see Islam striking like that, it makes me wonder just how like Volk would have fared against a Khabib, because it's like an easy comparison. But we don't have to go there. But this is what I'm thinking, like as I'm watching like the early rounds.
Yeah,
and he didn't ragdoll him.
No, he didn't.
Yeah,
no, he didn't. And even in the wrestling department, it was. I would say Islam is better, but he wasn't dominant in the wrestling department. So he
against Volk.
Yeah.
Okay.
Islam was better, and he was more technical, which leads to just having the better positions.
Right.
So yeah.
Well, it was a lot of offense too. Right. When you speak about Volk's wrestling, it was very defensive, scramble, preventative maintenance type of deal. And no, Islam was. You could see. I wish I was able to hear it with the commentary, but you could see he was trying to shape him up, get his leg over, hold him down, and Volk was not having any of it.
No, none.
Any of it.
And you could and then I want to touch on the striking point you made. Like Volk is fast, and that keeps getting like I keep realizing it every time he fights. He's just so fast.
He is. You know what's incredible about that, though? And this made me really excited for the John Jones fight because everybody had a question mark on Volk in terms of, oh, he put on a lot of weight. How's that going to affect his speed? He'll probably be slower because same thing with Conor. They said he was slow when he moved up to fight Nate. And so you see Volk go up and you're like, nope. No.
So he's so fast that I could see Islam kind of being a little bit more defensive, like kind of playing on the back foot more in the striking. And it's just because Volk is so fast. So like, but Volk, it was so good, bro, because Volk was so fast that Islam had to respect it, like, oh, because he can catch me. Like, oh, he can catch me with something coming in, like whatever. But he was like so locked in to where he could still snipe him. Every time he would try to come in, he would dot him. Every time, and then Volk would be like, oh, that was a good one.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a good one. Because he knows like he needs to get inside, and he's quick enough to get there, but Islam was actually connecting.
You're going to take one.
And that's the difference.
That's what we said, though. He's a precise striker.
Yeah.
He doesn't have like a high output. He put Charles down. Precise.
Yeah, and he was finding it, and that was the beauty in the fight. It's like you can tell Volk has put in this type of pressure on him to where it's like, oh, Islam always pressures the other guy.
Yeah.
Now it's like a back and forth. It's like a tug of war.
Yeah.
But every time Volk gets close, boom.
Yep.
Stay back.
Yep. Enough to make him think about it.
And then every time Islam shoots,
stuffed.
Volk is
stuffed. Stuffed.
Oh, I'm up against the cage.
Yep.
I'm doing the right thing.
Yeah.
It was like so much back and forth.
Yeah.
Like, bro.
Yeah. It was beautiful.
Somebody's going to crack.
Yeah.
But who is it going to be?
Yeah. And no one cracked unless you want to argue literally the last minute when Volk got him down, which was a crazy turn of events. But I was very surprised at Islam's inability to like ragdoll Volk. Yeah. It was in the beginning of the fight, you could kind of see like there were tipping points where I'm watching it and I'm like, oh, this is where he slams him down right here.
Yep.
And it didn't happen. And I'm like, bro, what's happening?
What's going on?
And then I'm literally hearing Volk in my head, like, he thinks he's gonna have his way with me. He's not. He's like, I've been in these deep waters. I put myself in bad positions on purpose to be able to get out of them and be comfortable in those situations. So I see that he's stuffing all these attempts. I'm like, bro, this is beautiful. Even if it's like mostly defensive, it is still beautiful that you're not having my way, because you do have this wrestling style that has this allure and history of dominance that when you see it not working in real time, you're like, what's happening right now?
So where does the victory come from?
Yeah.
Because this is how I thought you were going to win.
Exactly.
So how do you win? Yeah. And then on the other end for Volk, because during the fight I was thinking, okay, if this wrestling doesn't work, how does Islam win? And then I was thinking, okay, Volk is landing some shots. So I'm thinking, will Islam be like demoralized by this not working? And then maybe Volk like clips him. So that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Second and third round, I'm like, Volk could like clip him or something. Like, this stuff's not going right.
I think third, fourth round, I was like thinking he might. It could happen.
Yeah.
Especially as which is another surprise. Especially as the cardio difference started to take place.
Mate, that is probably the most. That is the most important thing about this fight was they were both in extremely good shape.
Excellent shape.
And then Volk ends up edging him out. And I think I seen it in maybe the end of the fourth. It was kind of like he's looking at the clock and I'm like, it sounds kind of like, Volk is a freaking character. He's literally like, bro, do something. Yeah. Like I'm in this, like you got my back, but you're not doing nothing. You're supposed to be killing me.
Did you hear him talk about it?
Yes.
Yeah. It was like 15 seconds, right?
Yes. So Volk is in these positions to where it's like, bro, and I'm like going into the fifth, I'm like, Volk is not tired at all. And then when they come out in the fifth, I'm like, okay, with Volk not being tired, Volk is faster.
This could be
and he, I think the corner might have told him like, you need to press on the gas now. Like you have to do something. I don't think they told him that he had to finish him though. But they, which leads me to believe that they think like, it could go either way.
At that point, like if you had it 3-1, 2-2.
Yeah, it could go either way.
Yeah. At best case scenario for Volk, it was 2-2.
Yep.
Best case for Islam is 3-1.
Yep.
I don't think you could really have had it any other way.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So, but with him coming out in the 5th round, looking like the fresher fighter, him having a better speed advantage, and then also the wrestling not being like a Islam showed that he could get him in the positions that he wanted to eventually, but he didn't show the ability to finish. Even with the rear naked choke, it was more like of a crank. He had it more up on his jaw.
Yeah.
He was more like cranking his neck. You don't. This is the reason Khabib was mad at Conor. Well, I don't think Khabib knew at the time, but he's upset that Conor tapped. But that choke that he had on Conor wasn't a choke; it was a crank. So he was really just hurting Conor's neck to where Conor just gave up to the pressure. But Khabib is like, go to sleep. There is no going to sleep because you're not choking him. So when Conor lost to Diaz, that was a choke. He lost to Khabib. Khabib was cranking his face, so he like tapped to the pressure. I didn't see a finish coming from Islam starting at that 5th round. So I was like, oh, if Volk comes out and puts it on him, like he could like. I don't think he knocks. Well, first of all, he was hitting him a couple times, and I was like, oh, he could find him. He could knock him out.
You're talking about Volk?
Yeah, I was like, yeah, he can find him.
Yeah, well, the whole way he ended up in that position they ended the fight in is because he hurt him with a shot.
Yep.
And you had to have figured that was going to be his path to victory if he were to win, and actually finish the fight anyways.
Yeah.
It was going to have to be hit him with a shot, put him down. Now I'm doing my best to put him to sleep.
Yeah. Man, the way that they ended that is a perfect way to end the fight
for sure.
If you're gonna lose,
for sure,
that shows you, hey fam, I'm here.
Well, Joe Rogan's logic, he won the fight.
He won the.
He was whooping him at the end.
Yeah.
And then if you look at their faces afterwards, you're like,
and they do go off of damage. The thing that was a little bit sneaky about the damage though is Islam's face was bruised up, but you couldn't really tell. But Volk's eye was cut.
Cut.
Like, it was cut.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
His left eye. Yeah.
Yeah, it was cut pretty good. But when you're looking at him, you can't really tell. But when you get the close up, you can see that like it's swollen and it's like dipped to an angle to where you can't really tell that much.
Yeah, I think that happens like in the early / middle rounds. I think maybe round 3.
Yeah.
So
I think he needs him.
A lot of that damage on Islam's face had to have come from the 5th round, right?
Yeah. I think he came from the 4th or the.
At least in the later rounds, right?
Yeah, it was the end of the 3rd because when he had him on his back, I remember seeing his face kind of red.
One thing before we get too far removed from it. So after Volk was in the neck crank position, at that point onwards, I felt like he was in no real danger.
Right.
Like that was the quote unquote danger, and from there it was fairly smooth sailing. What do you think about that positioning though? The way and I don't remember which round it was, but it's the videos and the memes that everybody's talking about, where Islam like has him in like,
body triangle.
Yeah, in the body triangle.
Yep.
But he's not putting any real danger on him, and Volk's punching him, getting damaged, like talking to him, punching him, taunting him. Like what are you thinking as this is going on, and how does it play to like the perception of the people that are not only watching the fight but judging the fight?
Yeah, I think that like first of all, that's literally the most dangerous position you can be in terms of
getting submitted.
Like you are in. The body triangle locks you in.
Yeah, you're immobilized.
You're immobilized. They have your back. There's only so long you can fight off a rear naked choke before they finally get it. So,
but is that the sentiment you were feeling when you were watching it? Because as I'm watching it, I'm like, it looks like Islam's ready to give up on this part of the fight before Volk is. Volk looks completely comfortable. It looked like Islam wasn't even trying anymore to and of course you can see the clock and everything, so he's probably like 15 seconds, 20 seconds, arms. Has to get your arms tired too.
Absolutely. But he wasn't I think he kind of was comfortable. Well, see, the thing when I'm watching that, I'm thinking, one, he's not doing anything, but you can't the only other option is standing them up. But you can't stand them up when he has him in a body. Aljo versus Peter Yan. You can't stand him up. The only difference is Aljo was putting in more work on the back than Because at first Islam was working to get the choke. Volk doing a great job hand fighting.
Amazing job.
I think they said Volk said he's like not worried about getting choked, and they're like, yeah, he has no neck. What's there to choke? So I'm literally looking like he has his chin tucked, and I'm like, yeah, where is he choking him? So it's hard. It's hard, and I think Volk has to figure out a way to get out of that position, because that's the only way that anything is going to change. Like, he has to get out of that position. And that means the only way to get out of that position is to move around and do some stuff that's going to put you in a greater danger to get choked. The problem is he was fighting hands so well that he was in no risk of getting choked, and he was tagging him a little bit by hitting him, but that he was doing some damage, but he wasn't doing significant damage. And he also wasn't working to get out of that position either. So how do you stand them up when you know? So it's tough. It's tough, but you have to get out of that position, because that's literally, if a Volk, or let's say they started the fight in that position, two fresh fighters, they started in that position at the beginning of the fight. Islam's working extremely hard to get that choke. Like, how long can Volk stay in that position? And you're kind of like bailing him out.
I think he was in that position for 3 minutes.
Yeah, but it's also in the fourth round as well. What I'm saying is like, if they start fresh, you don't hold on to that, or you don't fight that position off all day.
Right.
So it's kind of hard for a judge to a ref to be like, all right, stand up.
Yeah.
Especially he got a body triangle, bro. Like, he's literally locked in. He's locked in. You're not going nowhere. Like, you're here. Rest of the fight. This round is mine.
Yeah.
But I do think that.
But does that make the round yours? Like, I guess at what point is it diminishing returns? Because like I said, there was a certain point where you're watching it and you're like, the person who is receiving the bad end of this deal is not the guy that's tied up right now.
Yeah. And you can tell that because bro stopped trying to go for a choke and started punching back.
Bro.
He's letting that's your indication. Yeah. Whatever Volk is doing is fucking with me.
Yeah. Bro, he was hitting. I think the first one he got in there was like, oh, he rang my bell a little bit. Like, I did.
Yeah.
Then Volk's like talking to him. I bet you like he's trying to process what's happening. Bam.
Yeah.
Like, oh, he just, bro, got an accent and everything. He's like, oh, he's with.
Bam. Bang. Yeah. So, it's tough because
it's a good ass fight, bro.
Yeah. God. It's tough because you have to try to get out of that position. Yeah. And as an offensive guy, you have to try to work to get the choke. And he was working to get the choke in the beginning, and then at the end of the round he didn't. But it's 10. Like, are you going to stand him up with 15 seconds left, 30 seconds left? I don't know. So I agree. Like, at what point do you give like the guy who has his back taken more credit than the guy who's just sitting on his back?
Right.
That's something that we're just gonna have to figure out. Like, we need to have like a.
Well, I think they should reevaluate the whole scoring system in general,
I think so too.
and
give us kind of like a more of a. But it's hard. Yeah, we do have to acknowledge it's hard.
Very difficult.
So
very difficult.
But we need a foundation to where we can look at it and be like, okay, he has a body triangle, but he's not doing nothing
for sure.
Or he's absorbed 57 strikes, and he hasn't put any pressure on him.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking that, like, I don't know how long the scoring system has been set up like this. I'm sure it's been
it's evolved a little bit.
Yeah. I'm thinking as the sport needs to evolve, like as the sport evolves, this needs to evolve too.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a big topic around, like, we're all seeing it.
Yeah. Cause I watched a draw for a main event for a belt.
Yeah.
And that just can't happen.
And the problem is it goes off of a 10-point must system, and and it's a boxing,
like boxing.
Exactly. It's a boxing thing. But there's a lot of fighters are saying we wish the judges like feel certain things so that way they know how to calculate it, because another argument is if I'm leg kicking you and you're jabbing me, which one should be more effective or weighed heavier? And fighters have typically said, like, it only takes about 7 leg kicks until your leg is done.
Right.
However, you getting hit in the head, people see that and they're like, bet, like, they're winning.
Yeah.
But then
it's more splashy.
You get something like Izzy, at the end of the fight, and you're like, oh, he got knocked out. But then he tells you, bro, I couldn't move.
Nope.
But you're like, but no one was thinking. Well, there was a point where they were thinking that his leg was compromised because I think he checked a kick and he fell backwards. That was the only point where people paid attention to that. But that wasn't wasn't it.
I think it happened in the first round,
bro,
or like second round. It was early,
and that lets you know. Yeah, that lets you know. So there has to.
And then I see it's hard to find a solution for that, because then you see like one solution would be to have people that have actually done it in there, but then you have the biases that come in, different camps. It's a tough fix, and I know
it's tough.
Yeah, we touched on it a little bit.
Yeah.
But what you think about the decision? Like as they're getting up from the 5th round after the bludgeoning that happened for the last 63 seconds, what's going through your minds before they raise the hands?
I'm of the mindset that the positioning is important. So I'm thinking, great fight by Volk. Islam's going to win the decision. Not upset or surprised, whatever happens. And when they get up, I'm thinking, I think Islam won. Because of the positioning, and then as much credit as I would give to. See, the thing is that whenever I'm thinking of it, I'm like, wow, Volk surprised me because he didn't get dominated. But I'm trying to take a step back from that in terms of just giving him the fight because I was surprised he didn't get dominated.
Then it's in Australia, so you're feeling the energy.
And so I'm like, just because you didn't get dominated doesn't mean you win. And so I'm thinking very close. Very close. I will say.
What, 60-40?
I'm
55-45.
Closer. Because I agree with I say positioning, especially in like the wrestling and the jiu-jitsu and the ground game, the grappling, positioning is very important. So when he is on his back for that amount of time, controlling the fight, like, I'm gonna give it to him. But I do also agree Volk was doing the damage. So I'm like,
it's tough.
I'm like, fam, if they gave it to Volk, I can't argue because Islam is just sitting there.
Right. He led in significant strikes. Volk did. But then, of course, he got dominated in control time.
So what I will say, though, is while the scorecards are being read, the one scorecard I disagreed with was 49-46. And when they said that, I knew Islam.
Yeah, it was only going to be slanted one way.
Yeah, I knew he won. So I was like, oh, okay, he won.
Yeah.
Well, what were you thinking? Like throughout?
Man, I might have been feeding into the energy a little bit. Of course, I'm in the club and stuff too, so I'm not 100% like accurately watching. But going into the 5th round, I'm thinking, oh, this is 2-2.
Yeah.
And so, and it could be the effect of Volk's really out here shocking the world right now.
Yeah.
And then you see the weaknesses that, like, Islam came in with a game plan, and I don't think he executed the game plan the way he thought. But Volk said the same thing. So I'm thinking it's 2-2. So I see that, and I'm like I'm just caught up in the moment. Like, I'm literally, bro, I'm in the club, hands on my face. I'm like, yo, I'm like, bro, did Volk just win this? I'm like, this man Volk won, bro.
Yes.
And then I think I was able to hear. I actually don't even think I was able to hear. I just see like Islam's hand raised and he's celebrating. Volk wore it like a champ. He didn't, no disappointment, anything on his face. And so that's all fine and dandy. And then like I'm starting to itch away because it's time to go enjoy the moment now. Obviously, I can't hear anything on the phone. And right before I just change pace completely, Carlos goes, "It was unanimous." I said, "What? What? Unanimous?"
Yeah.
Bro, you know how I feel about the clears and the unanimous bro, I hear that and I'm like, what is going on, right? Who could watch that and
clearly say?
Yeah. That was my only beef. It's a shame that I guess technically someone didn't have to lose that fight the way the judging be going, but it's a shame that someone had to lose that fight because you're looking at both of their performances like this is just the top of the sport right now. But yeah, I'm just I'm not mad about who won, but the unanimous, I'm kind of like, bro,
like, come on, bro.
What's up with that?
And I couldn't clearly tell who won. So how are you telling me?
Bro. It can be unanimous, though.
Yeah.
But I also think, again, I'm the guy that'll use whatever context I need to. I also think that there's a level of it too, where if Volk wins the belt, that's not the greatest thing for the sport at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if Volk wins the belt, it gets mucky because then he's holding up the division. You have Islam, who's like this dominant type of fighter that has plenty of fights that you can line up. So then I'm just looking like, okay, if you have champ right here, then he's already cleared out his division. It's kind of nasty down there. Is he going to vacate it's just, there's too many logistics where it's like, again, if it's a close fight and the situation makes sense, we're going to give it to the situation that makes the most sense. I don't know if they think like that. That's just my own crazy brain.
The judges are human, but they aren't controlled by the UFC, but they are human. So
I hear that point too, and I'm like, I don't know. Not the human part, the UFC part. I'm like, there has to be some kind of hand. And then you get the theories that like judges want to be in good favor with the UFC, you pay the baddie fight, that type of stuff.
Right.
But all in all, that was like, it lived up to it. Again, fight of the year candidate.
Yep. And
as I'm watching that, I'm just like, we get John Jones in 3 weeks?
Bro.
Oh my God.
My God.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say. It was surprising. It was surprising too. Volk's stamina appearing to be the better stamina when he put on the weight, because that's always put on the weight. It's gonna, more muscle. You're gonna burn out faster. You need more oxygen. He dispelled that.
Yeah.
And I'm also now at a point where I believe everything Volk says.
Well, I think I'm of a different mindset in that aspect. I don't think he put on weight. I think he cut less weight. You know what I'm saying? Like. Because they're only separated by 10 pounds, which is a good amount, obviously. But like, Izzy going up, he's going up what, 20 pounds, 20 pounds, from 185 to 205.
Right.
John Jones going up, he's going from 205 to a 165 or 265 max. So it's like a bigger difference. Even Kamaru, even a welterweight going to a middleweight, it's 170 to 185. So. I think he just cut less weight, which is why I think
it was just more natural for him. He felt better.
He didn't, which is why I'm like, when you're saying his speed, I'm like, because he didn't have to cut as much, and he probably didn't gain. He probably was just probably like an easier camp.
Right.
He's probably cut less or 10 pounds less and work extra hard still.
Yeah. So what do you see next for the champion, Islam Makhachev? Or what would
somebody
you like
has
to see next?
Somebody has to. One of these fights that are coming up, somebody's gonna have to prove themselves to like stand out. The most obvious answer is if Charles wins, he gets a rematch.
Who's he fighting?
Beneil Dariush.
Yeah.
So if he wins, he gets a rematch. But I'm not opposed to somebody else getting in there.
Yeah. If it wasn't him, who would you like to see?
I think going into this, I thought. It's just Islam's division, and it's just gonna be the whoever. Yeah. So I don't really. It's
still very much could be the case.
Yeah, I think so. I think still. I think this proved Volk's. I think this is more of a achievement for Volk versus an indictment for Islam, and the guys that he's gonna go against are gonna be. It's almost like Volk is the untraditional. And then the guys that he's going to go against are more traditional. Like they're going to be this similar size. Like Volk is fucking 5'6". So even taking him down, like you got to get even lower to get to him. And he's like a bowling ball. So it's a little bit harder. Like everything that he said was going to be a factor and that I ultimately thought, no, I don't think so, was actually true. So I'm like, okay. But